SEKHEM is in the building, y'all. Peace, love, and light. It's your brother, Netta Nature, host of the Elect Godcast, here with a very special, powerful, important, paradigm shifting, consciousness awakening episode of the Elect Godcast here for you today, presented straight from SEKHEMINC. We're going to be getting into some more of the Lost Fives today. Okay, we're going to be digging it out and getting it out there to the masses. With me, I got the young God, Aki in the building, okay, and we ready to build, okay? Let's get it.
That's right. What's up, family? What's up, everybody out there? Shalom, peace. It's like he said, it's your boy GodkingAki coming at you with some good info. Shout out to the brother Netta Nature for having me on here. I'm excited to get to it. Shout out 378 Apparel, my company. A lot of good clothing out there for you. A lot more coming soon. Let's get it.
Yes. Yeah, make sure you get you some 378 apparel. Link in the bio. Get you some SEKHEM apparel also, or get you a detox plan, okay? Get you a consultation, okay? Get you many things. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, put questions, all right? Let me know who you want me to bring on the Godcast, okay? Because we here for the benefit of the collective. Now, starting it off, why don't you tell the family, young God, how you first came into consciousness?
How I first came into consciousness, I would say, in a way, being alive, you got to be conscious to an extent to be alive. I think being conscious is being alive and being aware. Although, we do got people out here that's alive and may not be aware of a lot of things, but that's just a basic level of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? But you mean as far as the spiritual journey, or you?
Yeah, like as far as you getting on your spiritual journey, that form of consciousness.
Now with the spiritual journey, same thing with that. As most people know, we're souls or spirits having a human experience. So during this experience, you know what I'm saying, it is a spiritual journey for everybody, whether you realize it or not. But as far as when I start unlearning and relearning and I guess reprogramming myself from a lot of the things that the system and our society will program you to, you know what I'm saying, under, I guess that really started, I'm going to say I started taking it seriously like 5 years ago, as far as the research and whatnot, and actually practicing things.
I like that because I would say, when did I get on my spiritual journey? Time going by so fast, I don't know. Maybe about 5 years ago. And then it was really like I was getting questioned. Two of my homies at the time who also had left Christianity around like a year or two prior to me coming into consciousness. So they had left Christianity, started gaining knowledge of self somewhat, and they get to asking me questions about Christianity that I couldn't answer, and I'm sitting there looking foolish trying to defend a religion that can't even defend itself, so it really goes to that. So I started doing research, getting knowledge of self because, in this life you live, you want to have some substance, even though that we know there's no absolute truth. But at the end of the day, there are some facts or some things that have a lot of facts attached to them to where it holds substance, and you can base, I guess, your reality or your life or your morals off of that. So yeah, I would say about 5 years ago, started eating healthy too about a year after that. So yeah, about 5 years ago, 5 is a strong number. 5 stand for power too. So 5 is a very strong number. So before we get into it, I like how I just brought that up because we need to stretch out the mind, but we start exercising, right? So getting into today's mathematics. Well, first, let me tell you all, when somebody says, what's today's mathematics, they're speaking about what is the addition of today's date, meaning adding all the numbers up from left to right till you get to a single digit, because the only whole numbers are 0 through 9. That is supreme mathematics. Now, young GodkingAki, what is today's mathematics?
Well, if you're going off of what you just said, combining up the date, today it'd be the 22nd of February, so 222. I like that.
I definitely like that.
That get us to the 6th. And in the year 2023, it's crazy we in 2023, but that'll add up to a 7. So we add that, what's that, 6 plus 7? That'll get us to 13. Add that, that'll get us to 4.
I like that. Oh, shout out Forbidden Knowledge. Shout out Billy. Foe, that is could be correlated with culture or freedom. Freedom of culture, freeing the minds, expressing the culture. And yeah, let's get vibrant with it. So starting off with the numbers, we want to get into 7. 7 is a God number. We're gonna be talking about the 7 main basic principles, okay, of the universe. And this is coming from the Kabbalion. And the Kabbalion is a book written by the 3 initiates of Hermes Trismegistus, but that just breaks down to 3 followers basically of Hermes Trismegistus, who is Tahoth, the Egyptian god, or Tahoth, the Atlantean. Hermes Trismegistus is the Greek form, or is the Greek manifestation of that Egyptian or Atlantean god, Tahoth, Thoth, goes back to 36,000 years, ruling Atlantis and ruling Kemet, which is Egypt, for about 16,000 years. So the ancient god Tahoth's book, the Kabbalion, given 7 main basic principles of the universe, but we know there's many laws of the universe, okay? Many different laws of the universe. These are just 7 laws that you can use to utilize other laws of the universe. You know, it's law of attraction, other different laws out there. So we're going to be touching on the 7 main basic principles and that quick run through of them. Because we will be here all day trying to talk about these, but we're going to be mindful of your time. We know that time is very precious out here. All right. We don't want to siphon too much of your energy. So getting into the first law of the universe being number 1 is all is mind. All right. First law of the universe is all is mind. Mentalism. Now, when we're looking at all is mind, well, the main key I want you all to absorb from this first law about mentalism is the manifestation power. Now we know about how we can manifest good things, manifest success, manifest business wealth, manifest different things we want into our life, but little do we know that we can manifest the bad just as well, and we end up manifesting the bad even more sometimes because we're unconscious that the things we do on a daily basis add up and end up manifesting bad realities. Little do we know while we just trying to manifest good. Because, you know, when you trying to manifest good, you have to do good. You can't manifest good and still be doing bad, you know. So we need to understand the power of manifesting. A quick example about how powerful the mind is. Let's say you in a house and you start to come down with something and you're not feeling good. The average person makes this situation worse just by manifesting. So little do they know they have manifested the sickness within them just by panicking and believing that they have that sickness. Because first it's the fear, then you start to believe it. And when you believe it, you're programming your subconscious, because we know scientifically the conscious mind programs the subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind basically programs your reality and things of that nature. So when you come down with something and you start to basically just think about that for a long time, be like, oh, I might have this. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling well. You're manifesting that into your body and you're going to not be feeling well. You might end up having that manifestation of disease because it's your body doing what it thinks you want it to do just by believing that, right? So we want to be mindful of that. Okay, we want to always, even though we think we manifesting good things, we want to keep that all around the board, okay? Even with how we speak, we don't want to speak down. We want to speak up, speak life into people, speak life into yourself, because literally all is mind, all right? Some say the universe is mental. It's the mind consciousness. So we want to be mindful of that. Young GodkingAki, what is your take on the first law of the universe?
Well, first of all, that was a great introduction. And before I get to that, I want to kind of kick back and respond to what you had said, or just expound on what you said about the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. As far as even going with the example you gave, I like the example you gave of going to the hospital and getting diagnosed with something, because that's something a lot of people gonna deal with at some point in their life. Unfortunately, if they do, you know what I'm saying, go to the doctor, regardless of if they actually have something or not. So, but just dealing with that example, you know, I'm pretty sure we've all heard of the placebo effect. Now, let's say same situation you gave, you go to the doctor, you're not feeling well. And there's been many studies on this that, you know, pretty much has been proven for a lot of people that it works and it's true. But let's say you go to the doctor, not feeling well, you know, whatever. Let's say you got a sprained knee, sprained ankle, anything, not feeling well. Now, the doctor, like you mentioned earlier, you got some type of faith, belief, or trust in them. So let's just say they give you a pill, but it's actually nothing in that pill. But they telling you, or you under the impression that this pill has, you know, actual medication that you need, medication that will benefit you. So that kind of powers up your belief in that. Now let's just say that pill contained nothing but water. And now I don't know the exact percentage, but I do know that a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, they would actually begin to feel better after that happening. That's what the placebo effect is. Just off the power of the mind that you believe in something, so you expecting it, and therefore you manifesting it to be. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Just the flip side of what you said, you know what I'm saying? It could be used both ways.
Facts. I think I seen a similar study to that. Forgot who was giving a breakdown of it, but like they had gave one group of people a saline solution and gave the other group the medicine. And in the group they gave the saline solution still benefited from it, like they was given the medicine because they thought that they were actually given that medicine.
Yeah, I heard about that too. It was actually another study, crazy one. This one I'm still trying to grasp, but there was a study where, you know, without getting too detailed with it, the main point of the story was that, or what I took away from it was, there was a study where they had like a control group and a study group. So one of the groups was told to work out and they would kind of measure their gains. And then the other group, they wasn't actually working out, but they told them to imagine working out and really try to feel it. You know what I'm saying? Really put it in your imagination that you working these muscles. And both groups had gains. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the people, I'm sure the people who actually lifted the weights, they probably had more, but I got to refer back to that study because I know that they both definitely had gains. Even the people who was just using that intent to imagine it, you know what I'm saying? That's also showing the power of the mind, bringing the metaphysical to the physical.
Facts. I love that example because that example basically is showing how intent and thought backed by action creates the manifestation, basically. So like that's very powerful because you gotta will it into reality. You think it, grasp it. This even going back to the Kabbalah with the 10 Sephiroth on how everything starts off like with the thought. Once you think it, then you start to gain emotions over it, feelings towards it, and what you want to do. Then you actualize it. Then you go put action behind it, and then that's just willing light. You know, that's the manifesting power. I like that.
For sure. I peeped that too, like as a kid growing up, like just cars, buildings, schools, businesses, everything you see in the physical, you know what I'm saying, aside from nature. I mean, nature too, but everything you see come from somebody's mind. Now, with the nature, I say that come from God mind, you know what I'm saying? But everything else you see, everything material, it came from somebody's mind first. Like they real life envisioned that in their head first and brought it to be. So that's what we're here to do. I feel like that's one of the most important things we're here to do. That's why we had that ability. And that's like us being God. the microcosm to the macrocosm. You know what I'm saying? That's stated in the Kabbalion, which we finna get into. And I know you was asking me to talk a little bit about the first principle of the universe, mentalism. By the way, I like the intro you gave on the Kabbalion because that was definitely a great intro for a great book. I say this what my copy look like. You see, it's kind of beat up. I've been really clutching it tight for a couple of years, but this book definitely changed my life. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I hold this to a high regard, like a lot of people hold the Bible, and you know what I'm saying. I feel like it really is one of them. It's like a Bible. You know what I'm saying. Everybody needs to have this. If you do mess with the Bible, this needs to be right next to it. And but tapping into the first law or the first principle, all is mind. I think that's like one of the most important principles because of what we just talked about. You know what I'm saying? Mind is everything. But in the Kabbalion, they state that the universe itself is mental. Even space out there. Basically, a way I could describe it is like all of the matter and all of the, you know, the multiverse, the vastness of space, that's God's mind expanding. You know what I'm saying? And we living that out. But all is mind. There's a lot I could say about that, but without taking too, like you said, we got a lot to get into.
Nah, we left the family with enough. The main thing is basically you want to just remember that you can manifest the good or you can manifest the bad just as much as you think you manifesting the good. So you want to make sure that your actions throughout the day can be, can be justified by your higher self, basically. So you can will these things into reality that we want, right? We're trying to birth ideas. We're trying to birth the things we want to happen. I just sit on them and think about them all day, right? Now, getting into the second law of the universe, all right? Second law being wisdom.
That'd be the supreme mathematics second law, right?
Facts.
That's cool. We need to know both.
That's because I got the supreme mathematics all through my head. Speaking of the supreme mathematics, let me get into that. That is basically it's different meanings that are attached to different numbers, right? That give it power and things of that nature. So 1 being knowledge, 2 being wisdom, 3 being understanding, 4 being culture or freedom, freeing the culture, 5 being power, 6, I can't get that off the top of my head right now, but 7 is God, 8 is build or destroy, 9 is born, and 0 is cipher, right? 9 born, 0 cipher, 6. I don't know why I can't get that off the top of my head, but we know 6 is a powerful number. 6, when you're looking at the 6-point star, you're looking at correspondence. You're looking at as above, so below. You know, they call that the Star of David or whatever, but you know, you're looking at the 6-point star, you're looking at a lot of different powerful things. 6 is another powerful number, coming in threes. Anything coming in threes, ultra powerful, 369, right? So that's my breakdown of 6, since I can't think of that off the top of my head on the established supreme mathematics. But getting back into the Kabbalion by Tahoff the Atlantean, right? Second law of the universe being correspondence. Correspondence, correct, God? Yes, make sure you go listen to NTI Correspondence out on all platforms, Apple Music, NTI Correspondence out on Dark Matter Energy Mixtape. It's also released as a single. Make sure you tap into that.
No
Now,
cap, that's one of my favorite joints. Definitely slide that if you ain't heard it.
love. Now, getting into correspondence. As above, so below, as within, so without. Now, this can go so many ways, but try to give a simple breakdown of correspondence. When we looking at the stars, or what we look at of above to be what we would say, I guess, the creator or anything of that sort, we must also look within, because like as within, so without. So the microcosm of the macrocosm. So let me get this breakdown. So like we got a billion living cells inside of our body that's conscious. They aware. They eat, sleep. They get rid of waste, right? They rest, and they make up the one you, right? So we got billions of living cells, living entities, as some would say, and they make up the one you. Then on this earth, we have billions of living people that are conscious, right? Living conscious entities that make up this one earth consciousness, right? Then you got other planets that make up the one universal consciousness, and then there's many universes. So many universes making up that one. And I feel like that's how it goes. It's always the microcosm of the macrocosm. Everything is replicated in reality. So when we looking at the above, we must know that the above creator that we speaking about, that we're praying to, is also inside of us, right? Also inside of us. And then yeah, I'm gonna let you give a quick breakdown of correspondence.
I like what you just said there. That was definitely important. I like that, and I agree. Yeah, man, like you said, we are the microcosm to the macrocosm. Like God, the way I look at God, at least, it's the highest source of power. It's like the infinite source of all things. And we have bestowed within us some of that same power of creation, manifestation, you know what I'm saying, replication, many of things we was given dominion over. So that's just one of the ways I could break it down: as above, so below. And yeah, that was deep, you know what I'm saying? I really took that in. I just feel like when I was really reading about that principle, I felt like that even just go for certain things that we deal with, you know what I'm saying? As above, so below. People think, you know what I'm saying, ascension is so easy and so sweet sometimes, but it's kind of like it could be every new level you get to is a new devil. You know what I'm saying? It's always somebody trying to bring you. It's always something you got for you to overcome when you climbing this mountain. You know what I'm saying? This spiritual journey is like climbing a mountain, and so I look at it that way too. You know what I'm saying? Some of the things we dealing with, it might be a deeper reason for why we got to deal with these things. Because as above, so below. It may be that way above.
Facts. I like that, and I like what you mentioned. The last conversation we was having yesterday about how we exist on higher planes as well as we exist on this 3-dimensional plane, because we know that there's many dimensions, right? Unless you just believe that this is the end all be all, there's no other life out there, that's okay. But we with the we with the 5%. So when we talking about that, we know that we exist on higher dimensions, right? At the same time, while we're existing on this 3rd dimension, we have a higher self that exists on higher dimensions. All right, and we really everywhere all at once. Everything everywhere all at once. Make sure you go watch that movie. That's a great.
Yeah, I still yet to check it out, but I know you've been telling me about it. I definitely want to see what's to it. But yeah, man, I definitely feel like that's a big thing because I kind of always, well, it's been a long time that I've been dealing with that feeling and what it means to really be a human. I mean, to be a soul having a human experience. And I think it come with you existing on multiple planes, like you just said, dimensions and planes. Like we know that we exist on. Some people just see the physical, and it ain't been revealed to them yet that there's more to it than that. But we actually existing on not only the physical plane, but the mental plane and the spiritual plane all at the same time. So, you know what I'm saying? You want to coexist and stay in accordance with all three as best as you can. So that's definitely important going forward.
Right. Facts. Now, getting into the 3rd law, we giving an understanding, overstanding, understanding of the 3rd law of the universe being vibration. Okay. Now we know that many of us use the word vibe, unconsciously. Not me, but people be like, oh, I'm trying to find me a little vibe. I need me a little vibe. I'm trying to find me a little shorty to vibe with, this and that. But do we really know what vibes we looking for, or what an actual vibration is, right? Because when we looking at vibration, we really looking at like pure pure energy and movement, and how nothing rests, nothing sits still. That's the actual law. Nothing rests, nothing sits still, everything vibrates. And that's true, because when we looking at reality, we have been condensed to on this light code lockdown, and with the spectrum that we can see, we only see about 8% of the light spectrum. We see less than 10% of the light spectrum. So we don't really see shit. The shit we see, this is not actual true reality. Like, the solid objects we see are not solid. They're actually moving. They're not resting. And you could see more of this actually if you were to, sometimes in a dream you can see it, but not even in a dream. Most likely if you were off a hallucinogenic, or not even a hallucinogenic. I don't like that word. Entheogen, right? These are plants. If you were often if you had taken entheogen, which allowed you to see more of the visible light spectrum and pick up on more frequencies and vibrations, you would see that everything vibrates. Steel objects that appear solid would be moving. Literally, that's because everything moves, everything gives off a vibration, right? Food, the solid food, that has a vibration to it, right? The foods you eat have a vibration, and they can affect your body's vibration. Like when people go into rooms, they be like, I don't like the vibe here. I need to get out. I don't like the vibe. That's because it's your pineal plus your aura and the electromagnetic field picking up on that vibration, and it's alerting you that, yo, this doesn't suit you. This not compatible with you. You need to bounce. Or uh or let's say on the other side, you go into a place and you like the vibes, and you you get a good sense of the vibes in there, and you feel calm, you feel peaceful, you feel welcome, you feel relaxed. That's because it's the pineal and aura picking up on those vibrations, right, and it's letting you know that your vibrations are kind of aligned, and you can chill here, right? That's how people meet new friends and stuff, because their vibrations are aligned, so they attract. So yeah, vibrations get deep, but remember, nothing sits still, nothing rests. Everything vibrates. Like the words that are coming out of my mouth, which is sound. Sound is vibration, right? Which is measured, which can be measured in frequencies and things of that nature. But it's all energy, right? Everything is energy. Your energy, I'm energy. Everything is pure energy. We all vibrate. So let's make sure we vibrating good. Now, vibration. What's your take on vibration, guys?
Man, I like what you had to say about it. That's definitely true and important. Um, you actually hit that on the head pretty much. Like you said, it states in the Kabbalion, nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. You know what I'm saying? And also, I like what you said about the entheogens as far as like the shrooms and whatnot, because you will definitely be able to see beyond the veil, or you'll be able to see more of the light spectrum like you was talking about. And I can also confirm that a lot of people, you will see things moving that normally wouldn't be moving. And then you might think you just tripping out like it's an illusion, but how do you know that that's not actually just really happening, and that's not what you restricted from seeing normally? But yeah, man, like I said, I think you hit it on the head, but I do still want to talk about vibration and just some of the things we can do, because the Kabbalion states that the difference in any living things, you know what I'm saying, the difference between us and animals and plants and trees, insects, it's all about the vibration. You know what I'm saying? We all vibrate differently. Now, that don't mean that we don't vibrate differently from one another, because that's a range of that frequency. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's certain things we can do to raise and lower our vibration personally. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had a long day at work myself. I felt like I had to raise my own vibration earlier today. So one of the things I like to do at times like that is deep breathing, meditation, you know what I'm saying? Because that just help your blood flow through your brain and whatnot. Also with intent. Intent is powerful, like we stated earlier. That goes back to the power of the mind. You know what I'm saying? You put your intent, and it's really like magic. It's a type of magic once you believe. But back to what I was saying, I had grounded a little bit just to, you know what I'm saying, knock off get some negative ions off me, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I had a long day, a lot of other people energy on me. But
so what are negative? I mean, not negative ions. We're gonna get into that too. But what is grounding for the family out there? You know?
what grounding is basically, it's an ancient practice. It's what we all used to do pretty much all the time, but unfortunately nowadays we do it less and less, working these jobs and wearing rubber shoes and having this concrete. But what grounding is basically when you place your bare soles of either your hands or feet into the ground or on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Mother Nature, so you can get that direct connection. It's really a synergy that we have with this here planet. You know what I'm saying? It could feel us and we could feel it. It's like we give and we give to each other. Just like, you know what I'm saying, how the trees give oxygen and we give carbon dioxide for them. So it's a symbiotic relationship. And when you ground, the earth will basically, it's got multiple benefits actually. Like I used to do that when I get off, my feet be hurting too. Like, cause it removed the inflammation. To help your blood flow. Like I mentioned, it's basically something to do with the ionosphere of your body, and it'll kind of it'll basically knock off negativity, you know what I'm saying? It'll kind of ground that negativity, pull it down up off you, basically. One of the simple ways I can explain it. And like I said, it could be done with your hands or your feet. So, you know what I'm saying? Out here in Chicago, it'd be cold, but it ain't too cold. Throw your hands in there for a little bit. So
That's real shit. You know, one day it was like, I believe it was like probably like 50 degrees outside, and the grass was cold. I dug my feet in the ground instantly. 5 minutes later, my feet hot. I'm warm as ever. You know, pulling that energy in from the earth, right? And at the same time, I was sun gazing, so I'm absorbing the radiation from the sun, heating my body up. And it wasn't even hot outside, right? You can do that when it's not hot outside. Heat your body up just by using the sun. So I like that. I like that take. Now we just gave you all 3 laws of the 7 hermetic principles, okay, of the Kabbalion. That's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding right there, which is all is mind, correspondence, and vibration. Getting into the 4th law, we're going to be touching on polarity. All right, that's polarity. When we're talking about polarity, we're talking about everything has its poles, everything has its opposites, right? You got this side, that side, or whatever. You got good and bad, negative, positive, male, female, masculine, feminine, things of that nature, right? And we're going to be touching on polarity and rhythm, the 4th and the 5th law of the universe, because they kind of correlate with each other. They go great with each other. They're good pairs. Polarity being the 4th law, the 5th law being rhythm. So when we're looking at polarity, I want to touch on, the point I want to get absorbed from polarity is how mainly the opposites that form could be looked at from different perspectives. So like good and bad could be looked at from different perspectives, because something that happens to you that you might look at as bad, or something that just happens in general that you might look at as bad, another person might look at it as good. So it's always the different perspectives that the viewer is viewing it from. So nothing is absolute bad, nothing is absolute good. It's just different perspectives. It might be good to you, it might be bad to somebody else. And then when we're talking about the pendulum, right? Let's say we got, the pendulum swing. That's an ancient teaching. The pendulum gonna swing, touching on rhythm. When we looking at the pendulum, let's say on the back side you got good. On the back side you got bad. Front side you got good of the pendulum. The pendulum always swings. Rhythm is key in life. The pendulum is always going to swing. You're going to have your ups and downs, right? But the key is to know that the pendulum swings so you can prepare for when you do have your down, so it won't be as down and you can shoot back up quicker, than how it usually would be, where you would fall in the dumps and just be down in the dumps. But just know the pendulum swings so you can ride that pendulum and use it to your advantage, because the pendulum is going to swing regardless. So with the polarity, we know that things are different, looked at from different perspectives. You want to look at things from different perspectives because everything has its opposites, and it's all different perspectives, always different perspectives. Also, looking at masculine and feminine, this is real key because we don't realize that men have masculine characteristics they embody, women have feminine characteristics they embody, but they have literally made us embody each other's characteristics. Little do we know. Women out here are super masculine, men are super feminine. And the feminine I'm talking about are the so-called gangsters that crash out, getting their feelings over words from another man, and they just, let that take them off track. Like how females are ruled off emotion, so they should be more emotional than anything. A man gets in his emotions and wants to go shoot somebody, crash out, put his life in jeopardy, put his family, put the things he got going on in jeopardy based off of things that's not that big. Right. And that's a feminine thing. That's real bitch shit. That's real feminine things to not look at it logical because we are logical people. So we always have to act. Well, we are logical creatures as men, so we have to act on logic. Yeah, we still have to be emotionally intelligent for sure. We must act on logic and be logical and make smart decisions, right? We have to make smart decisions. Even myself, I'm achieving making smarter decisions, trying my best to do the best, right? So, yeah, leaving it with that is now, what's your take on polarity and rhythm?
Okay. Yeah. Once again, I fucked with what you said. That's definitely important. The side note about how, people been acting, men and women roles been reversed lately. There's a lot going on, crazy times we living in. You know what I'm saying? They say the earth core is spinning backwards, so it may have something to do with that. But on a deeper level, it's like, this is actually one of the oldest war tactics called divide and conquer. And I feel like, we got to watch out for that because I feel like I've been seeing a lot of that as of the last couple of years, especially in our community, especially, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, they trying to drive us away from each other. And we all know what that would mean. That's the discontinuance of us. And that would be exactly what certain people want. But, we can't let that happen. So we got to stay aware of that divide and conquer tactic, and keep unity alive. But getting back into the Kabbalion, the fourth principle dealing with polarity, everything has two poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Yeah, that's real deep. Man, there's a lot I could say about that, but one of the things that really stuck with me from reading the Kabbalion, this principle, I know a great example that they gave in the book was about how, like, just picture, for example, a thermometer. They use that as an example as to how it's got two opposite sides, the hot and the cold, the extremes of both sides, but it also explained how they really the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's two poles. Like, it's no specific point on the thermometer where it say this is hot now or this is cold now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all the same thing, which we would feel it as air or just, a breeze or heat, humidity. But it's all the same thing, which is, it's just different poles of the same thing, basically, like yin and yang kind of.
Different degrees of temperature.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Same thing. It's the same thing, a temperature, different degrees.
In fact, that's a perfect example. That was a perfect example. Now, getting into last two laws of
the rhythm too. Let me touch on that. I like what you said about the rhythm because that's a deep one as well. Everything got its ebb and flow like a river. You know what I'm saying? What goes up must come down. So I just look at that one with, a lot of optimism because looking at the state that our people have been in for the past couple 100 years, it seemed like, well, we know for sure how we done fell in vibration from where we used to be at. But I feel like going by this principle of rhythm, that means that we for sure to come back up and rise again. So I feel like, man, that's definitely, it give me a lot of hope. And I feel like we just all need to do what we can to be ready for when our time comes. I mean, it's already started, clearly. You know what I'm saying? We left the age of Pisces, which was the age of believing. And now we done moved into a whole another one, which is the age of Aquarius, the age of knowing. So once we get into knowing, getting that knowledge of self back, then I feel like that's going to be some of the things to kick it off, which is already going on, I see.
All right, last 2 laws of the universe. All right, 7 cause effect. No, 6 cause effect, 7 being gender. Excuse me. 6 cause effect, 7 being gender. Now, cause effect doesn't really need that big of an explanation. We know you have common sense if you're watching this podcast already. So cause and effect, that is the 6th law of the universe, 6 being a powerful number already, like I stated. But cause and effect goes every which way. You know, you do some shit, it's gonna be an effect for that motherfucker. So you better remember and keep that law in your mind, that cause and effect, because every action has an equal reaction. So you better make sure that your actions do as to others as you would have done unto you. That's a great saying. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. All right, because cause and effect is real. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. So we want to make sure that we're doing things to where the effect, we would be happy with the effect, or we would be okay with the effect, right? So we want to make sure we understand that cause and effect. 7, the gender. Now we know everything has its gender. We looking at male, female. We looking at, how plants, masculine, they reproduce because it's male and female. Everything has its gender. So because gender does go beyond male and female, because when we looking at the ultimate creation, the ultimate creator can't really have a gender. It would be like in ancient days, it was often depicted as a hermaphrodite, being male and female, because male and female together makes that divine oneness, that ultimate consciousness, or God, right? The male plus the female, the masculine plus the feminine, right? The both principles equal that. So that can't just be one principle. If it was, it would have to be anything towards feminine, because feminine is the birthing, the womb, the ultimate womb, right? So looking at gender, that's a quick relay on gender. I'm gonna let the young GodkingAki give his relay on gender and cause and effect.
Touching on the 6th principle, cause and effect, like you said, that's a pretty easy one. Everybody know about cause and effect. If you do something, that's one of the things I didn't really understand about religion, when they say that you can just, repent, even though you might have already caused certain things to happen. Just the fact that you repented, it don't erase the effects of those causes. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the contradictions that I peeped back then. But karma. Exactly, karma. And you know what I'm saying? I feel like what that is it's the metaphysical to the physical. Like, the physical side will be the cause and effect, but karma would be more on the metaphysical side, like reasons that, or certain forces that carry out the action, you know what I'm saying, that make the action happen, so you can get your, you know what I'm saying, due diligence, or basically you reap what you sow. And I feel like karma is the insurance that you do reap what you sow. And you know what I'm saying? So I say that about that one. Moving on to gender. Now that's interesting, because they state that gender exists on all planes. And, it kind of makes sense, because the masculine and feminine, it's like we the key, they the lock. You know what I'm saying? It's another synergy. It's another symbiotic relationship. It's just like a battery. You know what I'm saying? You got a positive side, you got a negative side. You know what I'm saying? In and out. And I feel like that just it allows for the correct balance, you know what I'm saying, that we would need. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we both have different, like you said, we both embody different principles, although we do have You know what I'm saying? Both men and women have men and women inside of them genetically, because you got a mom and dad, so you actually both to some extent, but you come out embodying one, and that's what we here to tap into. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you're doing this correctly, a lot of people will call that being in your divine masculine or divine feminine, and I think that's very important moving forward as well. Like, if you a man, you know what I'm saying, hold yourself to your word. If you a woman, treat yourself with some respect. You know what I'm saying? Stadio. We all got an oversoul, you know what I'm saying? We all got a moral compass. And I feel like keeping that on point is very key. So that's what I say about that one.
That was nice. Well, we just gave you all a quick, brilliant, electrifying, profound breakdown of those 7 basic laws. Make sure you go get the Kabbalion and read that Kabbalion, and remember they're talking about the ancient god Tahoth the Atlantean, also known as the Kemetic god Tahoth. Okay, Hermes Trismegistus is a later manifestation form of that brought up upon by the Greeks, because we know that all Greek, all right, mythology is stolen African mythology, and all Greek gods are later manifestations of original African gods. All right, that's facts. So, Davin, getting off of that for a second, I know we talked about this earlier, but we wanted to get this out to the family, right? We want to touch on, speaking about number 6, laws of the universe being cause and effect. We want to look at the cause and effect. We want to look at the cause and effect of the doctrine of discovery, okay? And this is something that's very important, in that's been hidden from the masses, even hidden from me. I just got knowledge of this about 6-7 months ago. All right, we talking about the Doctrine of Discovery, okay? The Doctrine of Discovery is a papal bull that was written by Pope Alexander VI on May 4th, 1493. Good question. A papal bull is a form of documentation that is basically represents law that is written by the written by the Pope. All right, so some form of documentation or things of that nature that holds law. All right, that stands for law written by the Pope. So the doctrine of discovery it holds weight, basically. It holds super weight, supreme weight. So the doctrine of discovery basically stated that it basically gave the Spaniards dominion over the land that Christopher Columbus had came to. Because he didn't come to North America. He had landed in around Central America, the Bahamas. So they came, and the Pope gave them dominion over the land by stating that any non-Christians on the land does not own that land, and they can be removed, because they was basically establishing the land as a Christian land, right? So this is how religion was used to torture and distort, all right, in the Americas. We know it's been used in Africa way before this, but this is how religion was used in the Americas, by them seeing that these natives had their own gods, they have their own traditions, they're doing their own spiritual practices, got their own spirituality going. They not with the Jesus shit. So they created the doctrine of discovery, which gave them law, gave them the right to take the land from those natives, because they were not Christians. This is real shit, okay? I want y'all to look into the doctrine of discovery. This came out a year after Christopher Columbus came over here, okay? This is basically how the Spaniards got dominion over the land, okay, due to religion shit. That the fact that the natives were not Christians, all right? Or that's what they put in there, just to take the land from them. Because we know that the Pope not even a Christian. So getting off of that quick little thing, but the doctrine of discovery, Young Aki, what do you feel was the cause and effect of that doctrine of discovery that was proposed by Pope Alexander VI on May 4th, 1493. Oh, and before the young guy get live, that date specifically adds up to 8 when you're doing the mathematics of that date. When you're looking at 8 on supreme mathematics, that correlates to build or destroy. Right? Let me repeat that. Number 8 on supreme mathematics is build or destroy. On that day, May 4th, 1493, that is build or destroy day. The day that he proposed that doctrine of discovery. So we know damn sure they destroyed, right? Yeah, they maybe rebuild after, but we know for sure they destroyed. So
Now, I mean, just going off of that, they destroyed the people that was originally there, and they built themselves. So they did both. But what was you finna ask me though?
what would you say is the cause and effect of the doctrine of discovery?
Just first of all, I want to say this is one of the reasons why I've been so interested in, you know what I'm saying, history, and not just the indoctrination that we get in school history. I'm talking about real history, things that they might not want you to know, that they don't want you to know. Otherwise, it would have been emphasized like they emphasize some of the other things. But one of the reasons why I feel like this is so important, because if you forget your lessons, if you forget your past lessons, you may be doomed to repeat them. And something as pivotal as that, as messed up as that, we definitely don't want to repeat anything like that. You know what I'm saying? That'd be like, it's like us going back into slavery, although, you know what I'm saying, slavery's still going on in certain places, in certain forms, it's still going on everywhere. Right. But touching back to the topic, the cause and effect of the doctrine of discovery, I say, you know, with the Spaniards, they was kind of going around, we know they was basically crusaders. And you know, the crusaders, they go around with the Bible, basically trying to share that, as if they basically share that, and they use that as a reason to get them like the dominion over. They kind of want to act like this Bible, them having this religion, made them the direct descendants of God, or made them closer to God. So therefore it gave them the power to go ahead and spread this and conquer certain villages. They'll call us uncivilized just because we don't worship what they worship or believe in the same thing we believe in. They'll call us pagans, many things they called us. But the cause is, like I said, they was going around on that quest for power. They was looking to take things over. It may be a lot of causes that we actually don't think about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe about how in Europe, it was so much less resources than it was in Africa. So to an extent, maybe they felt like that made them even more hungry to go out, even if they had to take or conquer, you know what I'm saying, certain people. But like I said, that'd be some of the causes I could give. Now the effects, that's what's really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? They exiled a lot of people. Some of the first things they did, though, if I'm not mistaken, they ended all our trade routes. You know what I'm saying? We had trade routes going. We had civilization set up already. You know what I'm saying? We already had our beliefs and things like that. So we was pretty much already rolling, and they put a hard stop to that roll by, you know what I'm saying? That's basically stopping our food. We not allowed to trade anymore. Now, not
as Cabo community say, we was rudely interrupted, huh?
Nah, for sure. Definitely a rude interruption. And this things that they dealt with at that time. And I feel like, from my understanding, the Aboriginals at that time, they didn't really like the Native Americans. They didn't look at land as somebody's property that they could hold. You know what I'm saying? They looked at it as, we live in communion with the land. They looked at the land as sacred. You know what I'm saying? Can't one person just own it. You know what I'm saying? So they looked at it as kind of silly when these people had came with these propositions of, you know what I'm saying, this land is now ours and all of that. So I feel like it might have not been, they might have not understood the true severity of what was to come. But, you know, through and through, like you said, they ended up moving forward with that for the reasons that some of the causes and effects of them going through with that.
Nice. That was very informational, because we bringing new information out. So it's only right that it's informational. So we want you all to go look into the Doctrine of Discovery, where the lives of melanated people was distorted. We talking Moors that are Muslim being switched to Christians, right? We talking a lot of crazy shit going on, right? A lot of distortations and a lot of destroying of the melanin, the strong melanin conductivity we had going on, right? A lot of melanin conductivity, and they attempted to destroy that, but we rebuilding, right? We know. So speaking of melanin, since I brought it up, I might as well get into it. Cat over here acting crazy. Well, speaking on melanin, we're gonna touch on melanin, give a brief breakdown on melanin. So melanin, we hear about melanin, but people only correlate it with the skin pigmentation. But melanin is way much more than that. Melanin is in damn near all living things, even in the cosmos. Melanin is there. Melanin has to be present for life to be there. Okay, melanin, which is carbon, is the foundation for life, I would say. And when we're looking at melanin in the human body, we're looking at melanocytes, right? So melanocytes are cells that produce melanin, right? Starting from even the early stages of, when you're a zygote and you got the ectoderm, which is the outer embryonic layer, which holds the neural crest, and the neural crest sends out different cells that have different jobs and different functions and get things going. Many of those cells being melanocytes. So a lot of the melanin that you have comes from the neural crest, right? A lot of the melanocytes come from the neural crest, and melanocytes are cells that produce melanin. So melanocytes are cells that produce melanin, many of them coming from the neural crest. And now we also know that we have neuromelanin, which is a form of brain melanin, right? Which doesn't necessarily have to do with the skin pigmentation. So one can have, well, really, it does, but at the same time, one can be of lighter skin pigmentation and still build up the melanin within inside their body, right? Or one can be of darker pigmentation, but be destroying the melanin they have with inside their body. I want you all to remember that melanin is more than skin pigmentation. It's your protective organizing superconducting chemical, right? It's the basis of organizing you, right? It's the basis of, the zygote turning into the human, right? At the end of the day. So it's the basis of organizing and protective. It's the protective layer. It basically protects your human organism. It's your first defense system, right? From the chemtrails in the sky that get on your skin, the melanin protects it. From even the foods we eat, you could have a crappy diet, but if you have a high melanin content, you will not experience some of the many effects of eating a crappy diet because of your high melanin content. If you've been doing things to uphold your melanin, but at the same time, our melanin has been getting destroyed from many different things, such as medicines, such as inoculations that has been given to us from just for trying to go to school, and we try to go to school to learn, to try to be better. They try to tear us down by giving us inoculations. Okay, well, they don't know they're tearing us down, but yes, you are destroying your melanin by getting those inoculations. All right, inoculations are destroying the melanin. Even a lot of the foods you eat will destroy your melanin. Even a lot of things can destroy your melanin, but a lot of things can build up your melanin, such as sun gazing, grounding, doing a lot of soul work, right? Being connecting to your higher self, right? Can all enhance forms of melanin, right? So, brief breakdown of melanin. We want to just let the family know that melanin is more than a skin pigmentation. Okay, melanin is the chemical key to life, multi-functioning chemical. Is basically it's the chemical key to life, literally written by Dr. Liela Africa. You got to check that book out. But melanin is literally the chemical key to life. It holds things together. It protects. It organizes. It's super conductive. Like just by two melanated brothers being together, our melanin is interacting with each other, and we are super conducting, picking up on each other, picking up on the energy due to the melanin. It's over superconductive, right? Beyond superconductive. Now, I'm gonna let I'm gonna let Aki, the young god Aki, give his breakdown of melanin.
I like how you broke that off. You definitely mentioned a lot of the important things about melanin. And you know what I'm saying? I'm sure we could talk about melanin all day because there's so much that's amazing about it. Like you said, it is one of the building blocks of life, with carbon being, you know what I'm saying, one of the first elements of creation. And like I was saying, melanin is one of the, well, like you said, melanin, it is carbon, which is one of the building blocks of life. You know what I'm saying? So we got that. But what I also wanted to say off of what you was just saying, how conducive it is and how it can be a superconductor. One of the reasons for that is, and also a reason for our pigmentation in our skin, where you get the brown and the dark from, melanin also contains copper, you know what I'm saying? Which is, we all know about copper. Copper basically, it can spark electricity, you know what I'm saying? It is used well, basically. We have the copper inside our melanin, and like I said, that's where we get our pigmentation from. You know, it's a lot of things you already touched on, but you know what I'm saying? It's certain things you gotta take care of. Just like anything else, you know what I'm saying? Your car, if you don't take the proper care of it, it ain't gonna work right. Same with your melanin. So look into things, natural things. There's a lot of natural things that we do. And in this day and age, we so far removed from like just basic times where we was really living in one with nature. So it's a lot of new products, new chemicals out here that we using that's weakening our melanin, like you said. And that's one of the ways that basically not taking care of it. So you won't be getting all of the effects that it truly can have, which is just some of them. It has antibacterial properties, antifungal properties. Now, you know what I'm saying? Melanin, it basically, one of the most interesting things I learned about it, though, it has its own consciousness and basically a will to thrive. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like in the movie, the Spider-Man movie with the Venom suit, when that Venom, that was them representing, that Venom was representing melanin, if you ain't catch that. But when that suit got on anybody, it kind of took over them, and it had its own consciousness, you know what I'm saying, that wanted to thrive. It wouldn't let them die. You know what I'm saying? It gave them strength. It gave them what they needed. That draw me to another thing about melanin that's fascinating, which is the fact that, you know, it has the ability to draw from all type of things for energy. Like, for example, you know how we could take light in for energy. It could do the same with sound. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fascinating things about, you know, melanin. And that's just a couple off the top.
Yes, sir, that was nice. Now, touching on melanin, we wanna understand the power of the melanin, which is carbon, the power of the carbon, right? Carbon is in almost every living thing in that plant. Well, plant actually has the chlorophyll. I was gonna get into that. Chlorophyll is plant melanin, right? Chlorophyll is within plants, and it helps them convert the sun rays into energy, right, for food, just like our melanin does with the sun, using photosynthesis. We can actually do the same as well, convert that sunlight into pure energy. We can also absorb sound for energy, because sound is what? Vibration. Vibration is what? Energy, right? Everything is energy, right? We are forms of energy. So like, if you was in a closed off room and somebody had a drum and they got the beating on the drum, you or your melanin in your body would start to pick up that frequency, that vibration, and absorb it into your body and use it as energy, convert it into ATP, right? So the melanin is very, very powerful, okay? Melanin can expand in many different ways, right? With the neuromelanin, the eumelanin, theomelanin, the skin pigmentation, all those different things. But melanin, aka carbon, powerful. The chemical key to life. It's what makes you you at the end of the day. It's what keeps you here. Melanin is in the cosmos as well. When we talking about the ultimate darkness, triple darkness, right? Because melanin is that chemical key, that protective chemical, superconductive chemical that helps you absorb that radiation and turn it into energy and turn it into basically just benefiting the body, benefiting the soul. You know, the sun gazing is soul work. So you do a lot with the sun, do a lot with the melanin. Okay. Now, touching on a convo me and the brother had not too long ago, we're gonna be touching on entheogens, or really the benefits of entheogens. So when I'm speaking on entheogens, I'm speaking on psilocybin cubensis, on what most people know it as, or some people might like to call it magic mushrooms. But for number one, it's not a drug. For number two, it's not a hallucinogenic. If I'm saying it right, how you say it, God?
Hallucinogen.
Yeah, hallucinogen. It's not a hallucinogen. It's an entheogen. Get that man right. Get that word right. Entheogen. When we talking about entheogens, what is, or basically how has taking entheogens helped you in life?
Hey, with the entheogens, man, that's a topic that I've really been interested in lately. You know, as you stated, I'm into the mycology, and I'm starting off and getting into the mycology, and I've also been taking them myself for some time now. I just want to start out by saying I'm not advising anybody to go ahead and take anything just because they heard me talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Do your own due diligence and research. You know what I'm saying? Everything that, you know, through the power of the mind, you can still have a lot of the same things revealed to you. You know what I'm saying? The psilocybin, it helps us to release DMT in our brain. This is what we actually release when we're dreaming. So that's just proof that you don't need this to get some of these benefits. But okay, now that I gave that forewarning, getting into it. Now, what'd you say? You said, what's my take on it in general, or what?
How have you benefited from taking entheogens?
Okay, how I benefited from taking entheogens. There's been multiple ways I benefited, but some of the most first thing that comes to me is about just like kind of being able to see beyond the veil for a little bit, even if it's temporary. It kind of gave me a lot of confirmation that, you know, the spiritual realm is really real. And it just gave me certain confirmations that, you know, I'm on the right path. It's like every time you take them, it's kind of like it brings whatever suppressed feelings you have or any type of, you know, blocked energy, just gonna bring that to the forefront. So you got to deal with that. So it's helped me in that way too. You know what I'm saying? To overcome certain things, you just could. Well, I like to sit and meditate with it, let certain things go, bring certain things to me. It's great for manifesting things. You know what I'm saying? I know you big on that as well. Some of what I learned about it is it actually strengthens your corpus callosum in your brain, which allows it basically syncs both hemispheres of your brain better. You know what I'm saying? So you can have better connectivity, synchronicity, all that. Now, it's a lot of benefits to it, but some of the best things I've seen, that's a couple. What about you?
Right. My benefits, I would say, definitely, like you said, for one, that sinking of the left and right brain, I definitely felt that. And when we talking about left brain, right brain, we talking about the left hemisphere of the brain, the right hemisphere. So we know that the left hemisphere of the brain controls the right side of the body, and the right hemisphere of the brain controls the left side of the body. And the left hemisphere of the brain basically correlates to logic and reasoning and things of those nature. And the right hemisphere of the brain is more with creativity, imagination, and things of those nature, intuition and stuff like that. So when you combine both, you have the perfect mix up, you feel me, to handle this matrix, handle this reality. And we get stuck in left brain thinking from start, from starting off in the school system, because they have us in the classroom, they have us in the classroom basically doing nothing but logical things, just trying to find answers, adding them up. Oh, what's the logical way to add this up? And everything is logical. It's not too much creativity except for art class, but I feel like it should be more classes that are like art classes, which let kids, children explore their creativity, right? Because we need that creativity. A lot of times that creativity gets shut down and shot down as a young one. So
Then again, my bad to cut your wisdom, but then again, that kind of makes sense because they don't want us thinking for ourselves out here. You know what I'm saying? They want us to take what they teach us as the truth. And you know what I'm saying? Basically, just like when you take a test, you don't get points for, you know what I'm saying, being creative. Maybe you could have, just like when they tell you show your work, it's certain people who actually experience getting the right answer, but because you didn't do the work the way they taught you, now you not as a problem. You know what I'm saying? So that just goes to show they not necessarily here for you building up that creativity and that imagination, which is definitely important.
facts. Yeah. You definitely want to do practices to sync that right brain as well, because you want that creativity to birth your ideas and or to start your ideas and to, think outside the box and things of that nature. So like you left-handed, right with your right hand, and like try to get some books that are read right to left, and just do things outside the box, explore the creativity to tap into that right brain hemisphere so you can connect the left brain, right brain, sync them together, right? And operate this matrix the best way you can, right? Now, getting back on the question at hand, what'd you ask me?
What's some of the things you got from the shroom trips or the Entheogens?
Some of the benefits I got. Well, yeah. So for one, it was the syncing of the left brain and right brain, and for two, I would say, is the humbling or the realization that we really are nothing compared to to everything. Like, because it's so many advanced things going on in this universe. Like this universe alone, even though there's many different universes, there's so many advanced things, complex things going on in this universe. And when you really realize that the perception you thought you had of yourself is not, that doesn't hold weight. Like you start to separate from whatever perception you had of yourself before you take it, because it literally shows you how basically the world the world really is. Like you see the real shit. Like if somebody was faking in front of you, you will see the real them. You will see the real everything. Because for one, it unlocks the pineal, kicks that pineal open. So your pineal is not on full effect, but it's in effect off the entheogen. So first, you picking up on different senses with the pineal, picking up on different vibrations. You're seeing better because it's helping you see more of the light spectrum, right? You getting more energy. Your melanin is more conductive, and basically you more of a god. Let me say that you get right into God time on the entheogen, because you realize that you are God, as long as everything inside of nature is God, right? So when we looking at the entheogens, they like, plants, mushrooms growing on the ground. We know in ancient times, it'll just only make sense for the ancients to be eating those mushrooms off the ground at times where they were looking for food. So we know that mushrooms has been used for thousands, maybe even millions of years, right? So it's been going on for a long time. So just slightly touching on entheogens. We're not advising nobody to do any entheogens or nothing of that nature. We just had a discussion about it earlier, and I wanted to ask him some of those questions because we've had some very profound experiences off of these entheogens, and I would say I feel like have helped us advance a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But getting off of that, getting off of the entheogens. So we are digging into the lost files. So I wanna, before we get out of here, I wanna bring up another lost file about the dirt. Talking about the Olmecs. Y'all know I love the Olmecs, man. The Olmec Toltecs, to the Aztecs, the Mayans, right? Later on to the Shinnecock, the Chickasaw, the Cherokee, all the Native American tribes, right? So when you're looking at the Olmecs, that would be the mother civilization of Central America or Mesoamerica. The Olmecs would be considered the mother civilization of Mesoamerica. Right. So you can credit them with the start of basketball and soccer if you want to, because they created rubber. And with that rubber, they used to create balls and bounce the balls off the ground, kick them through hoops, shoot them through hoops, and basically creating the first basketball and soccer. This is real stuff. They also were the first to use chocolate. Were the first to actually start using chocolate with the cacao plant. So the Olmecs are very powerful. They very electrifying. When you look at the Olmec heads, look at the helmets they had on, and then the civilizations they birthed later on with the pyramids. A lot of the pyramids, they say those pyramids, they weren't technically built around the time that they think. Like when they say like all the Mayans, the Aztecs, and things of that nature, those they landed on those pyramids. Those pyramids were already there, most likely coming from that Olmec mother civilization, which dates back to 8,000 BC, starting around 8,000 BC, right? Maybe even before that, because we know the times are messed up. But yeah, shout out to that Olmec civilization who was major tapped in. Okay, you feel me? Syncing up with their cousins on the other hemisphere of the world, building the same exact type of monuments. You feel me? Streaming to the same type of consciousness, right? Connected to the one source, though, right? Remember, we all different expressions of that one source. Now, before me and the God get out of here, we want to leave you all with a few things. But first, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. All right, hit that notification ringer. Okay, put some questions, comments, and make sure you let me know who you want me to bring on the show, or let me know some topics you want me to get into. Right now, young GodkingAki, what's some things you want to leave the family with today on this Wednesday, which is a day that could be dedicated to the ancient god Tahoth. Tahoth could be correlated to Wednesday when you're looking at the deities of the different days and of that nature. So, what would you say? What do you want to leave the family with today?
One thing I want to leave y'all with is, you know, do your own due diligence, of course, like as we all do. You know what I'm saying? If it's anything you heard that we said that caught your interest, in a good way or a bad way, just do your own research. You know what I'm saying? Look it up. Don't stop at the first thing you find. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I find that, or sometimes when I had the deepest understandings is when I collect things from multiple sources, and then I get the full circle. You know what I'm saying? Collect different pieces to the puzzle, and then you get your own. But I say that. Also, I want to say, when you're doing that, just remember anything you learn is pretty much useless if you're not applying it. So make sure that the application, we laying that on heavy in these times, because if you want to really get your manifestations, you know what I'm saying, it got to be both, like you said earlier. You know what I'm saying? The will plus the action. Get them wheels moving. But I'm going to just leave y'all with that.
Facts. I like that. Definitely make sure when we picking up on these thoughts and we get these ideas, right? When we starting with the Ein Sof, the nothingness, how everything comes from nothing. When you feel me, it's darkness, then boom, you get an idea. It's like the Big Bang almost, similar to like the zygote, when you start off with cells and they just boom, just expanding and they make you. So kind of like the Big Bang almost. But when we looking at that, you wanna know that when you get that idea, and you have to back it by action. Well, first, when you get the idea, you actualize it, put the feelings, emotions behind it, on what you want to do with it. Then you put action behind it. Okay, this is something I've been working on myself. We can't just be learning stuff, because it's then just gonna get to the back of your mind. And now, yeah, you a good debater, but what are you doing? Like, how are you feel me, becoming God? Can't just say you God all day. You got to become God, gods and goddesses, right? By using that God power we have to create and destroy, right? So we want to make sure we speaking life into each other, speaking life into ourselves, and we putting action behind our ideas, okay? Putting action, intent, purity behind the things we doing, so we can reap the gracious benefits, okay? And before I get out, I want to leave you all with the third agreement on the book. The Four Agreements by Ruiz. I get at now almost each episode, but the first agreement was be impeccable with your word, right? Which I've been trying to do. I hope you all been trying to do as well. Being impeccable with our word, standing on our word, speaking life, speaking positivity, speaking love into each other, building each other up, not tearing each other down. Number two, uh, because number three is don't make assumptions. Number two is don't take anything personal, right? A lot of times we take things personal and we don't have to. Let it switch our ways of thinking, and we even take it to the heart. Now we starting to feel bad, right? Starting to feel bad and things of that nature, letting it tear us down, letting it getting into our aura, when we have a protective field around our aura and we can block negative things away. So we don't have to take things personal, right? Remember, don't take things personal. So number three on the four agreements would be don't make assumptions. And this is very key, because we assume the wrong things damn near 80% of the time. Like, we really don't want to make assumptions until you get the actual proof or whatever. But without that proof, just don't make assumptions, because a lot of times you are assuming based on your based on the knowledge you have previously had on it, and that knowledge you have on that may not be correct. So you're making assumptions, and that them assumptions may most likely not going to be true. So you don't want to make assumptions, family, and you want to be impeccable with your word and don't take things personal. Okay, those are three agreements out of the four. Okay, shout out to Ruiz. I can't think of his whole name right now, but Ruiz. Yeah, I think Daniel Ruiz with the Four Agreements. That is a great book. Yeah, make sure y'all tap in to just higher consciousness, okay? Get into things that's going to raise your vibration, like we was talking about with the laws of the universe. Get to things that's going to raise your consciousness. Link up with people that are better, that are good for you, okay? That are assets, not liabilities. Link up with people and do things that are assets to your life, not liabilities, okay? Again, this is your brother, Nutter Nature, host of the Elect Godcast, presented to you straight from SEKHEMINC. We was in the building with the young GodkingAki. Okay, we signing out. Peace, love, and light. Healing, family. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification ringer. Let me know who you want me to bring on the channel. Put some questions in the comments. All right, I love you, family. Peace, love, and light.